Have a happy audience. I like to eat on Christmas Eve and drink on Christmas Eve, and we all like to laugh, don't we? Yeah! We're going to do just that. Here's Bob Monkhouse. Bob, an early Merry Christmas to you. Are you enjoying the festivities so far? Little drinky poo, by the way.
Yeah, I'll take that, Des. And Merry Christmas to you too, my friend.
And to good folks out there.
Yeah, very Merry Christmas. Very lovely. And those who are not seeing us with absent friends. I was thinking about it. When one thinks about Christmas, we get nativity plays. And we all dress. Most people put the Arab headdress on, don't they, to be standing around in the nativity play as the shepherds. And it makes you realize that Arabs are not that different from you and me. The only difference, I think, between the Arab people and us is they do everything the other way around from us. You know, they read the other way around, and they write the other way around. You're in the Middle East, you commit adultery, you get stoned. Now, you and I do that the other way around. I love all that. I remember Christmas Eve, I'll take you back 10 years now, we went round an old folks' home, Christmas Eve, about 1980, 79. Do you remember this at all?
Vaguely. We've been out on a few evenings, you and I, over the years.
Yeah, but this particular time, we spent about half an hour going around an old folks' home, and we were leaving, and you said no, and you went back. There was a little old lady that no one had spoken to. She wasn't communicating with anybody, and she was tucked in the corner, in the bed in the corner, and you went over to her, and you held her hand, and you sang to her softly. I think you sang her every song that you've ever had in the hit parade. and you said to her, when you finished, you said, "I hope you'll get better soon." And the little old lady said, "You too, Dave."
You never stop there.
You knew it was coming.
You're rightly known as the king of the game shows. I mean, you must have done more than anybody and done them as well as anybody could possibly do. How many have you done? Do you have a list?
Gosh, I don't know.
5, 6, 7?
But I don't know, Des, honestly. It'd be a bit egocentric of me to try and... If I'd be obsessed with my own career, if I could remember them all. Try and name one or two. Let's see, there's What's My Line? The name's the same, and Find the Link. And I've Got a Secret, and Trust Your Wife, and Beat the Clock, and Vegetable House, and Bury Your Hatchet, and Quick as the Draw, the Golden Shot, Celebrity Squares, and Family Fortune. I'll never recall the name of the war. I just don't care. Give me what you like to cook and go. I love game shows, and I love quizzes.
Well, they tell me that, having done so many, you've now got a hobby of collecting bizarre facts. I suppose that goes with the territory, doesn't it?
Frogs.
What about frogs?
Frogs mate underwater.
Really?
That surprises you? I was surprised. First time I went to the public baths in France, I was astonished at that. And I want to tell you what amazed me again on a wildlife program, female giraffes. Do you know, a female giraffe, during mating, will sometimes get bored and walk away. My God, I'm married to a giraffe. It's all true. No mistake.
It's very interesting, all that. I mean, it's a whole study there, isn't it? Mm. Now, you never make mistakes, do you, Bob, on these game shows? I
think it's very important if you're a quizmaster on a show where someone's going to win a prize that's important to them, to make sure you make no mistakes. So I tried to make none.
Well, I'd just like you to take a look at this clip we've got, Bob.
What?
It's of your good self actually making a little boo-boo. And it's a good one, too.
As you answer, you'll see a picture form on the video wall, and that'll be an illustration of your key question. Enough about that till we get to it. In the first part, thank you very much.
Before Dennis Nord.
That hasn't gone out yet, that series.
That's why we thought it was a little bit of a coup, because that doesn't go out until next,
Starts
February.
in January, the $64,000 question. I'm glad you didn't get the clip where I was talking about folk songs from Poland.
We look for it.
No, that was, we've done such a lot, you know, but on that show, $64,000 question, you get such eccentric people. They're lovely people, but they specialize in one topic. They have to know all about one topic.
With a family, do you get a passenger now again?
Yeah, you get an Uncle Ernie on the end who's It was definitely a
Doesn't
danger.
sound like we struck her. Is an Uncle Ernie here? He's waving.
You get the one that the family didn't want to bring, sitting on the end. They shove him down the end. I hope you'll never get to him. And you do. Hello, Uncle Ernie. I did. Name the capital of France. F. We had a family on once. Didn't I ever tell you about this? An Irish family.
No.
Sweet family from Northern Ireland. But their family name was Thick, T-H-I-C-K-E. Now, there being so many Irish jokes about, and that being racist these days, I went out to the studio audience before we recorded the show and said, please don't laugh at this. It is the genuine family name, but let's not make a joke of it. So they were very good. The studio audience was sweet about it. And I said to you remember on Family Fortunes that Les Dennis does now, that each of the answers comes from the public. It's a survey of 100 people who ask the questions. So it's what you've got from the public. So I go to this dear lady who was head of the family. I said, we asked 100 people to name something blue. I think the top answer was the sky, then the sea, etc. We asked her to name something. We asked 100 people to name something blue. She said, is it my cardigan? So now I'm dreading coming back to this woman again. We come round to the second question. My second question was, name something deserted in winter. I think the top answer was a nudist camp, maybe a swimming pool, a seafront. Name something deserted in winter. My cousin Elsie. And the audience laughed as you just did, and she turned on them. She said, it's not funny with 5 kids in the house and Christmas coming up. That was wonderful. Those are free gifts from the god of comedy.
That's right. Gold nuggets dropping in your lap, if you like. You probably know, I don't know what you do know, but I wander around the crowd and I get questions from the audience for you. So it's an air of spontaneity as they feel they're joining in. I'm trying to remember the 4 questions. There was one, how did you become a comedian?
Who asked that?
Who asked that?
I'm glad somebody thinks I did.
We've got 4. When do you go? Well, we're doing one at a time. How do you become a comedian?
Right. Well, I mean, you've been asked that question. I've been asked, how do you get started? This morning it was an AA man and some jump leads. But I think a man becomes a comedian rather in the same way that a girl enters the oldest profession. You start doing it for fun, and then you do it for a few friends. And then you think, hey, I might as well get paid for this.
Someone over here said, are you gonna get into my territory? You're gonna start singing and making records?
No, I will leave that to you. Yeah, I make all these jokes about you, as all comedians do, but I'm a great fan of yours. I think you're a marvelous singer. Your first record. I do.
I'll give you the money later.
I went up and bought your very first record. I remember it was Careless Hands, first hit.
Yes.
78.
Yes.
And then you had a 45, and then you had a 33. I think it's the cold weather that's shrinking them. Now you're lucky if you sell a dozen.
What's the strangest...
Oh, talking of records, could we mention this?
I know you want to talk about that.
Just very briefly. It's the spoken word of rock and roll. I'm only saying that what is great about it is dozens of stars, dozens of them, Doddy and Ian McCaskill and Claire Rayner and Robert Powell, and if I went on naming them, we'd run out of time, have done the spoken word of rock and roll. And if you purchase this album, you will not only be helping us to help people who are disabled with cerebral palsy through the Stars Organization for Spastics, but you'll also be buying yourself the biggest laugh. It really is the funniest since your last album. This one is really...
I know that's a cause very close to your heart.
It is.
We'll say it again, the spoken word of rock and roll.
Thank you, Dave.
Right, someone said, and I think I'm right, did you ask about Bernie the Bolt? Someone up there?
Johnny Baker and Derek, there was the 2 guys, one was called Johnny Baker, the other's a lovely man called Derek. I still see him at the Central Studios. He's still the top technician there and a marvellous guy. We had so many things go wrong with that show. Everybody had to be on qui vive all the time. As you know, it was a live show. For those of you who never saw it, too young to remember, the idea of the show was that people at home could affect events in the studio. They could see a target live projected on the television set. It had to be. And they're seeing it through a camera which was mounted on a crossbow looking down through a sight with a quarrel or a bolt loaded on board. I would say, Bernie the Bolt. He'd put the bolt on. They would then say, up a bit, stop, right a bit, stop, left a bit, stop, down a bit, stop, fire, and hit an apple which would explode with a detonator in the center. And then they'd qualify to come on the show the following week. Now, this went on for the first series and the second, and then we're in the middle of the second series. And I got a phone call from a guy, ostensibly from Wolverhampton. Hello, who's calling the Golden Shot? Well, we had a little chat. Yes, I do. Yes, that's what I do. Yes. So, right, are you ready to try? Yes, Boop. Yes, I'm ready to try. Right, Bernie, the bolt. You have 30 seconds to hit your apple, sir, starting now. Right a bit, right a bit, right a bit, right a bit. Right a bit, right a bit. Just hold it a second. Right a bit, hold. Sorry, Bob. You've gone way off the target, sir. You've gone way over to the right. Could you come back a little? Left? Left? Yes. Left a bit, left a bit, left a bit, left a bit, left a bit. Hold it. Left a bit. No, now you've gone up the other side. You're pointing at the toilet. Stop the clock a second. Can you see the target all right on the set, sir? See? I told the man from Rumble House when he'd come and took the set back Wednesday. They took the set back. Yes. I've got 12 million people watching this live. You mean you're sitting at home without a television set trying to play the game? There's no need to get sarky, Bob. Take your shirt on, if you please. I'm sorry, sir. Well, I'm not sitting at home. I'm not an idiot. I'm in a phone box. You're in a phone box. Yes. Then you come. Excuse me. My phone box is opposite Curry's. Curry's leave their television sets on in the window. Just say you clear as day, thank you very much. Sir. Wife to us then. Go on, wife. I am waving. Oh, yeah. Yes. Ah, crumbs, I got him tuned into the bloody burbers.
Well, we like our laughter Christmas and we like our carols. And here's a group who really know how to sing them.